Well, hello everybody. This is Street Outlaws No Prep Talk episode 35. Today's episode is going to be about Birdman Racing. Now, please subscribe and comment and stay tuned for a lot more content coming. All about season 4 of No Prep Kings Racing and No Prep Racing in general. So, Birdman Racing. If you've been following No Prep Racing since 2014, 2015, you know this guy, you know this team, and you know this car. Now they were huge in the garage world. They were huge in the street racing world back in the 90s and the early 2000s. They originally raced on this third generation Camaro known for the Flame Job. Now this car was huge in the garage world, as I said before. Through back half car, steel body, and it weighed roughly around 3,000 pounds, 2,900 to 3,000 pounds. So it was pretty heavy compared to today's standard for back half cars and two chassis cars. So this car back then outpowered everybody on the no prep world. I mean, it had a lot more horsepower than anybody else, and even though no prep was being ran at smaller tracks, outlaw tracks, not at the big NHRA sanctioned tracks, well, most people couldn't run with this car. This car had a 620 cubic inch, 5-inch bore space, big block Chevrolet motor with twin 98 millimeter turbos. Now, anybody that knows about turbo motors knows this makes upwards of 4,000 horsepower easily. Now, in 2016, they came out with this new top sportsman Firebird. This car was lethal since the beginning. It was roughly 400 pounds lighter than the back half car, and it had exactly the same combination. Same turbos, same motor, so same horsepower, and it weighed 2,500 pounds, 2,600 pounds, so extremely fast. This car annihilated anybody in the no prep world. I mean, they won American Outlaws Live. They won Armageddon a couple times, I believe. I mean, this car was unstoppable. And it did win Season 1 of No Prep Kings. Now, they did switch over from the 5-inch motor to a Hemi combination. Due to parts, I mean, the 5-inch bore space motors are hard to find. I mean, Larry Larson also ran a 5-inch bore space Chevrolet. And those parts are mostly one-off. They're hard to find, hard to produce, they're expensive to maintain. So they changed over to a Hemi platform, 572 cubic inch, still twin 98 millimeter turbos, so as well, very high horsepower. Now, in recent times, after winning season 1 of No Prep Kings, they started to struggle a little bit. Back in season 2, they put weights on the turbo combinations, so Birdman, to run the twin turbo setup, had to add a lot of weight. This meant he had to swap over to another combination. So he swapped over to a gigantic hard single turbo. I believe they ran at 154 millimeter single turbo. That's enormous. I mean, that's gigantic. So they ran this huge turbo with a Hemi, and a lot of people said, well, it's slower now. The car's not as fast. Well, I believe the real problem for them is people got faster. All the competitors got faster. They stepped up their game. I mean, they were running back then against 600-inch nitrous motors, 700-inch nitrous motors. Now they're running Pro Nitrous 959s. For an example, the Pro Charger cars running, small big block Chevrolets with 136s. Now they're running Hemis with 140s, so they're making a lot more horsepower. The lockup transmissions came in, so plus the weights, so the field got a lot faster. I still believe he has potential to win the No Prep Kings Championship. He's also had a lot of bad luck. So watch out for this car for sure. I mean, this car has not been doing that good lately, but they got to figure it out with the huge turbo. So I believe this car is going to